happening here? You guys know it's time, right? You know what we're doing, right? Okay, girls, the boys might be ahead in offering. Hold on. But the points count for the party on November 13th. It's pretty close, but I think the girls might have a few extra on the boys right now. See, so that you know how you earn these points? 1, participation when I say Space Ninjas. Or Pirate Squirrels. Oh wait, you know what you guys forgot? Floating in space. Oh, okay, I just missed it. I missed it because Hunter's so tall. I'm just all right. Perfect. Okay, that's one way. Another way is if I ask a question like, ooh, what book are we studying right now? And you raise your hand and you can answer it right away. In the Bible. What book of the Bible? Nope, doesn't count. Nope. Judges, right. Or if I ask, what judges have we studied so far? I say, and you have to do this. But you have to have this happen. Okay, all right. You're right. Well, I know you don't know unless you were here last service. Wait, where's Evelyn? Oh, she was halfway here this last service. Okay, it's okay. All right, so, we've been studying the judges, but you guys know that a judge isn't a judge like the kind of judge that you know, the kind of judge that sits behind the thing and says you're guilty and you're not, right? Whew! That's not the kind of judge in the Bible, right? Does anybody know what a judge in the Bible does? Hold on, this was the first hand I saw, and yours was the second one. What? That was the word I was looking for, following God. The judge was meant to help the Israelites know and remember what it takes or what you need to follow. And God promised that if they followed him, he I know. That was the first hand I saw. I was waiting. Okay. All right, hold on. That was before I even asked the question, though. All right. I'm watching. Well, put it down. I haven't asked the question yet. Yeah, okay, what's the answer? Right. Okay, but God promised the Israelites, and he sent judges to help them remember what it means to follow God. But he said, if my Israelites follow me, I will help them. But he said, if they don't follow me, do you know specifically how? Hold on. Shh. You missed too. How can we both miss? That's not okay. I got it. Okay, wait. Gigi was answering. What? With their battle. Oh, Gigi has been listening in kids' church. I'm telling you this. Okay. All right. Okay. You're right. He said, because remember, the Israelites, God gave them the promised land. And there were other nations around them that were trying to war against them to defeat them for land, but also for life. And what I mean by that is, did you know, kind of like God wants all people to know him, right? And Israelites lived around, does anybody remember the tribes I don't know if they're called tribes, but the groups of people that were part of the battles the last time? The first week was, Goliath was like, who was it? He's a big guy. But the giant people were, no, that was last week though. Midianites were last week. Canaanites, the giant people, were the week before. Yes. Okay, these are groups of people that the Israelites would actually even give them opportunity to know God too. Did you know that? But they would choose to follow their own way. And would end up in war. Did you know that we've had wars? Right? You study in history? And most of the time wars are happening because people are choosing of the right way, or they're choosing a way that's harmful for other people, right? The reason we end up in war is because we have groups of people that aren't following a good way. It's the same way in the Bible. So this week, are you ready? You guys might know who this guy is. I'm going to show his picture, but it's kind of a gross picture. Are you ready to see it? We're ready. Wait for it. Ah! Ah! Do you think he looked like that? That kind of grossed me out when I first saw it. I mean, he does look really strong. Samson, everybody say Samson. Will you remember this next week that we're studying Samson this week? Samson, okay, was strong. Look at him, he's buff. Okay, wait. God gifted him with strength, not just normal strength, just like monster truck strength. Yes, but the kind of strength that the Philistines, say Philistines, the Philistines were afraid of him because they thought this guy is so strong he could take out all the Philistines by himself. That's how strong he was. God gave him that gift, and he knew it. But God also told him, you know what? I'm giving you this gift. I'm going to make a funny rule. I mean, this is how I know God has a sense of humor, because he's like, dude, if you ever cut your hair, you'll lose all your strength. That's how I know God has a sense of humor, because I'm not exactly sure why. All I know is the Bible teaches me that God told him, I will make you strong. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because we're supposed to follow. And if God says so. So God said, don't cut your hair or you'll lose your strength. This is what God says. So Samson, in an attempt to follow God, doesn't cut his hair. But he doesn't share his secret either because, it's the Philistines. Okay, there's something else I have to tell you about Samson. Samson ate dessert before dinner every time. Samson sometimes would use his strength in a mean way. Samson disobeyed his parents. So wait, we're not ready for that yet. Okay, well, it's okay. He's ready for it. Okay, all right, fine. I was having fun. Okay, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, put it up here. Here's some of the other things. Truthfully, he did disobey his parents, but this says here he married a Philistine. And at first I thought when I was younger, what's a big deal about marrying a Philistine? Well, I'll tell you something. God told you do. Oh, tell me. That's okay. I'll tell you. Because the truth is, the Philistines did not follow God. Oh, can I tell you something really important? Bigger and you decide you're ready to get married and you're like in love with somebody, make sure they follow God. Make sure they follow. Because here's the thing, you don't want to be married to someone you disagree with all the time. Okay, and what matters most, what matters most is your heart before God. So the people that I'm going to be closest to, the person I'm going to marry, okay, is going to be somebody who loves, I am married, I was just saying. Okay, before I got married, I wanted to make sure I found somebody who followed God because I wanted us to agree on everything that we believe in together. Because the people, I will tell you, it's awesome to be a witness to the world around you. It's amazing to make sure that you have friends that don't know Jesus so that they might know Jesus through you. That's awesome. But some of your closest people should know God. Because those are the people you might go to for advice. Those are the people you might go to talk about your relationship with Jesus. Those are the people you might come to church with. Oh, you could bring your church, but you could bring to people. Oh, everybody should come to church. You know how much fun I'm really getting over the head right here. But you get the idea, right? He married somebody who didn't follow God. And what God has told the Israelites from the very start, be careful or they will lead you away from me. And so what happened, because he was married to a Philistine who didn't believe in God, she started to convince him to do other things away from God, to walk away from God, to not follow. And he's supposed to be our judge. He's supposed to be the one that leads us to. And he's not. Okay, wait, there's even more. Are you ready for this? You're too far ahead. I'm not there yet. He also had... remember when I said he punched people in the nose? I didn't say that. I was going to say that, but then Mr. Ty ruined my joke. I'm teasing. I can give him a hard time because he's awesome. You guys know what I'm saying, right? How many of you have ever hurt somebody? Okay, wait. Hurt somebody on purpose. Okay, here's the thing. Everybody at one time or another maybe has done that because you let what's called anger allow you to act out in a way that you know done that you just know doesn't honor God, and you thought it would make you feel better by hitting or punching or kicking or screaming or scratching or I don't know, saying something really ornery or biting, whatever it is. You've done something that you thought was the right thing to do, and you actually knew in your heart it wouldn't honor God. Every single one of you this has happened to, maybe even this morning. Oh. Okay, I'm just saying this. Okay, the truth is, everybody struggles with anger. And actually, it's okay to feel frustrated inside. It's okay to even feel like feelings of anger inside. What matters is how you act, how you respond to how you feel. And Samson had a really hard time with that. And he was strong, so he would use his strength. And people were afraid of him. I have to tell you something, kids. Think it worked out well for him? I'll tell you why, and then we'll talk more about this in just a second, okay? Samson. Remember I told you he's married to a Philistine. Okay. Well, the Philistines were worried that the Israelites would take over because, that was God's plan, actually. And so they were kind of worried about it. So they convinced, oh, wait, does anybody know Samson's wife's name by chance? Because in your kids' Bibles, it's called Samson and... Is it anybody but Janae know? Anybody? Anybody but my leaders know? Oh, wait. Do you know because your mom told you? It's okay. Say it. Delilah. Everybody say Delilah. Delilah. Yep. Yes. Okay. Wait. I don't know. That's like half a point. That's half a point. Okay. Because she was willing. Okay. Here's the thing. Delilah was a Philistine, and the Philistines went to her and said, hey, can you find out what would make Samson weak so that we could overtake him and not be afraid of him? And we could, you think you could do that? And of course, Delilah's like, sure thing. Oh, yet another reason it would be a bad idea to marry somebody who doesn't believe in God.
Because they could take you over.
All right, here's the thing. She goes, this is where I think the story gets kind of funny to me. She goes to Samson and she's like, hey, sweetheart. Your parents talk to each other like that, sweetheart. Bunny boo. I don't know. Would you tell me the secret to your strength? Like, what would make you kind of... And, are you ready for this? Remember what I said. Remember this? He lies to her. And he says, okay. He's like, well, if you bound me with leather straps, I'll be as weak as any other man. You know what she does that night while he's sleeping? She puts leather straps around his arms and legs and ties him up. And then she yells, the Philistines are coming! And he does what? Whoa! And he gets out of bed and he's ready to fight. He broke that leather strap like it was just a little tiny piece of string. And she was like, Okay, here's where I think it's really interesting because, come on, Samson, when your wife asks you a second time, don't you learn your lesson? Because she comes to him and she says, okay, please, why don't you tell me the secret to your strength? I mean, I'm sure she just, here, let me make you your favorite French toast. Here, let's go do your favorite things today. What's the secret to your strength? And so guess what? He lies again, and he's like, well, if you use brand new rope and you tie me up with brand new rope, I'll be as weak as any other man. So what does she do that night? She ties him up with brand new rope, just like he said, and she yells, the Philistines are coming. Okay? And then guess what happens? Whoa, the Philistines are coming. I'm ready to fight. And he broke the rope, like it was string. How did he not learn his lesson is exactly my point, because she asked him a third time. Nope. This time, she's like, sweetheart, honey bun, I'll do whatever you want. Just tell me the secret to your strength. Can you imagine he actually said, all right, well, God told me that if my hair was ever cut, I would lose my strength. So guess what she does that night? And then she yells, the Philistines are coming. And he goes, I'm not joking. He couldn't even get out of bed. So the Philistines overtook him, tied him up, and captured him like he was a criminal. Well, he kind of was. Remember, he has an anger problem. And everybody was kind of afraid of him. But guess what? He's supposed to be the judge who's leading God's people to follow God. And now he has no strength, the one gift God gave him. He's bound and he's captured, and he's not even able to be a voice for the people of Israel. Not that it mattered, because he wasn't a voice for the people anyway. But can I tell you something? Listen really quickly. There's more to the story. Can I tell you something that's really awesome? And I hope you hear this part right here. This is important to me that you hear this part, because eventually his heart changed and he said, I understand now. And he prayed to God and he said, God, I am so sorry. You know, here's the thing. I bet the minute that he was taken by the Philistines, he was like, uh-oh, I just did something wrong. And he might have even said he was sorry to God. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness, or asked somebody else for forgiveness, but you didn't really mean it? Like when your parents ask your brother for forgiveness and you're like, and you don't really mean it. Okay, I'm sure that was Samson for a while. And finally, have you ever come to the point where you realized it really doesn't help to be mad at my brother? It really never helps to disobey my parents. It really doesn't actually help when I punch somebody, kick somebody, scratch somebody, bite somebody. It doesn't really help. Samson started learning that lesson, and he said, the way I've been living is not helping anybody. And he realized his responsibility to God as a judge for the people. So he prayed to God and he said, God, please forgive me. And he said, if you will allow me to have my strength one more time, I'll be able to send a message to the Israelites how important it is to follow you. And guess what?
God grew his hair back.
No. Well, I mean, his hair naturally started growing back. That's not the point. God gave him his strength back the one last time, like he asked, because he had a heart that wanted to follow God. Do you hear that? Do you have a heart that when you mess up, you say, oh, I don't want to mess up, God, please help me? That was Samson. That's exactly what he did. And so, show him the picture, Mr. Ty, show him the picture. Do you guys remember this from your kids' church Bible? This is Samson and Delilah. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. These are pillars, stone pillars. Okay, if I tried to walk to this stone pillar and kick it with my foot, I would break my foot. If I tried to karate chop it, I would probably break every bone in my body trying to knock that thing down. Enough strength. That's the kind of strength God gave him, that he stood there and he's like, and he knocked the whole temple down. The Philistine temple, not the Israelite temple. The Philistine. I don't even know if they call it a temple. It was like I don't know what they call it exactly, but I'll just say a place of gathering where the Philistines were, and destroyed a lot of the Philistines. It sent a message to the Israelites, the value of following God, because when we follow God, he will help us. That's our theme this whole month. We follow God, he will. Okay. Here's the thing. God wants to know that you have a heart that says, God, help me. He wants to know that you have a heart that says, when I'm angry, will you help me choose better? He wants to know that that you have a heart that says, God, when I feel like being mean, help me be kind. Will you help me to be kind? That's what we're going to talk about. I even have a little balloon to show you what I mean. Let me get it out here. This is what you're going to talk about in your small groups. See? Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'll put this away. This is what I mean. Okay, let me ask you something. Because here's the truth. The biggest truth for you is that when you're feeling frustrated or angry inside your heart, there's a way to stop right there and not act out in anger. Because I'll tell you, there are lots of times when sometimes I feel like being mean to somebody, but does it ever really help? No, I just get in trouble. Okay? Sometimes I feel like doing something I know wouldn't honor God. And sometimes I feel that feeling, and that's pretty normal. But God says, will you ask me for help? Because if you don't, this is what happens. If you don't ask God for help, you'll feel a little bit frustrated. No big deal, right? But then you keep thinking about it. And you keep thinking about it. And then you keep getting more angry and more frustrated. Why?
Because you're thinking.
Oh, that's a point right there. Because you keep thinking about that thing you're angry about. You don't turn that thing over to God. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. And you get more angry and more angry and more frustrated until you come to the point where you can't handle it anymore. And what happens? What do you do? Have you ever exploded like that? It's got my spit in it. No wonder it's gross. I spit in there. Oh. Yeah. But do you guys hear? Make sure you're going to talk about this in your small group, because the one thing I hope we're learning from Samson, he lost so much because he wasn't following God. He wasn't doing things that he knew would honor God. And kids, you're going to be surrounded by other people, just like the Israelites are surrounded by other clans around them, other, why can't I think of the word anymore? It's gone. But, Philistines, Midianites, Canaanites, all the different nations, thank you, it came. The nations around them have different things that God said, be careful, they will pull you away from me. You have things in your life people in your life that might try and pull you away from God, like his wife. Who's in your life? Be careful, because the truth is it's important that we're around people who don't know Jesus. We want them to see Jesus. We just have to be so careful that we don't let them pull us away from Jesus. That's what Samson did. And with his anger problem, he used his strength to hurt other people. And it got him into big trouble, didn't it? But if he would have done, this is what I do. Kids, I'm gonna end with this, and then we're going to get in small groups. The truth is, what I say, I tell my kids all the time to do. When you're feeling angry, here's what happens. A lot of the people around you might expect you to act out in a really crazy way. They might expect you to yell and get mad. They might expect you to say something, okay? But if you choose something different, if you choose a word of kindness instead of anger, if you choose to be a helper instead of somebody who refuses to be a helper, if you choose that, then the people around you will be like, oh, something is different. I wonder what's different. That would give you an opportunity to tell somebody about Jesus, because it's Jesus in you. Okay, so when you're feeling frustrated, everybody has, right? When you're feeling unsure, can I give you a thought? Do this instead. Right here. I'm giving you something to do. Are you ready for this? Eyes right. Something to do. When you feel frustrated, ask God for help. Okay, wait. Not just that. Because sometimes I can ask God for help but not really mean it in my heart. So then I'm also going to stop for at least 4 seconds. I'm going to take one big, deep breath. And if I take one big, deep breath and ask God for help with a heart that says, God, I really want your help, I promise you, he will help you. Because you have a heart that is right before God, asking for, and he will help you. That's what you're going to talk about in your small group. So I'm going to get us in our small group so you can have some time. Leaders, there's supplies up here that didn't fit in your box. So if you see something you need, it's probably right here. Okay, let me pray for us. Jesus, we are so thankful to be here with you. I'm so thankful for the kids that are here. God, that we can learn such big lessons from your word as we read it. And from the Old Testament, God, there's so much for us to learn. I pray a blessing over our time in small groups. I pray next time we feel frustrated, God, that we would look to you and ask for your help. And all God's children said, amen. Leaders, would you stand up around the outside so I can get you going? If you're in kindergarten,